Hey guys, what's going on? It's Chris. I didn't even realize I'm looking at my OBS. I just realized I'm wearing like double stripes. That was unintentional. I didn't realize I was wearing two stripes. But hey, stripey boy or something. I don't know. What do kids say? Is my tank top like folded weird? What the hell happened? I just got changed. Just got out of work. I wanted to give you guys a near final update on the situation with Sam. The last update will probably be like, the day of or the day after she leaves back to go to Michigan, and then just kind of like saying, this is the beginning of my new chapter or whatever. But for now, I wanted to tell you guys a little bit more detail about the situation because I okayed it with Sam. I asked her questions like, is there content on YouTube between the Linkin Airsoft vocal cover channel, between my main channel, or anything like that? Is there any content you want me to take down that involves you? And she said, absolutely not. If I wanted it to be removed, I wouldn't have done it. If I didn't want it to be up, then I just wouldn't have made it. So I said, okay. And then on top of that, what am I allowed to tell people about the situation without breaking your privacy, without, anything like that? And she said, whatever you want to tell them, you can tell them anything you want. It doesn't bother me. So I said, okay. And I wanted to get her approval before I came to you guys and told you everything. And I just wanted to, keep the updates, let you guys stay informed on the situation. And also really kind of shed more light on how I don't want any negativity towards her. Like, you guys know I have been really struggling with all this. This is first real love. First love as like a mature, like as an adult, somebody I've like grown with and learned a lot about myself with, and somebody who I've taken a lot of steps in advancing my own life with. For people who are new, I met her online, moved to Michigan to live with her. She moved out here, we moved out there, now we moved back here, and it's been 3.5 amazing years. 3.5 years that have been a struggle for me because there has been a lot of growth. If you watch my videos back in 2015 when I really first started really interacting with her, you'll see like nearly a completely different person versus now. And she has helped me achieve a lot of happiness in my life, and she has helped me achieve and help me understand myself a lot better. She has seen sides of me that I had never seen up until then. Up until she saw it, it was like, this is new for me too. So there's been a lot, and there's been a lot of good, a lot of bad. Not really, honestly, a lot of really bad. It's like just, basic relationship stuff. We never really had any really big problems. The biggest problems, I think, most of the time stemmed from her, I guess, anger issues, like her getting really, really annoyed and not knowing how to keep her own emotions under control, and then me dealing with my my mood disorders and my depression and my anxiety and a lot of that stuff, limiting my outlook on life and limiting my my adventure, my ability to take risks and go on adventures, stuff like that. But we found our balance. But ever since we started dating, how it all kind of worked out from the beginning. She was dating this guy. She was dating this guy who I met them both through. He introduced her to the YouTube channel and to my channel when he found me through, I think, my 100,000 gamer score video. And he's like, hey, you got to check this guy out. He's really funny. And so they started watching me, and then one day he invited me to a party on Xbox, and I'm sitting there miserable, bored, and I went, you know what? Sure, I'll join the party. I'll humor them. Whatever, Mr. I don't care kind of thing. And I joined this party, and he's like, holy crap, you actually joined. It was like, hey, what's up? Just kind of thing, And little did I know that by me joining that party, I would essentially butterfly effect change the next 3 or 4 years of my life in the most drastic way ever imaginable to me. Because after that night, we started talking regularly, and then the next time we got into a party chat, he brought Sam into the party chat, and she was like my number one fan, or at least developing into my number one fan at that point, and that's kind of the label that she gave herself, as I'll always be your number one fan, which is, so touching for me. And so she joins the party, and she's fucking flipping out, and we start talking, and we're hanging out, we're friends, we're playing together, we're playing Halo, we're playing Modern Warfare 3, and we're chatting. Sam and I and her and Jacob would like Skype each other, and then there were even times where like it was just me and Sam, and we didn't do anything like that, like we were just friends, but we stayed up on a Skype call for like the entire night until like 4 or 5 in the morning, just talking, because we were talking about book stuff, we were talking about YouTube stuff, and just kind of getting to know each other, because me and Jacob talked more on Xbox and through text, and then her and I would talk a lot of times through like chatting apps and stuff like that. But I swear to you, there was never any kind of like, there was no flirting, there was nothing deep behind it all. We were just chatting, we were just talking about the book, honestly, a lot of that stuff, because she started reading it in her off time in college. So, and then blah blah blah, things kind of were going along. After about a year or so, you know, they came out to visit, and that was incredible. I got to meet both of them. They spent the time at me and my parents' house, and it was fantastic. And it was like that moment when I first like saw them, and I saw Sam, and I hugged her for the first time. There was just something in me. It was like I knew there was like I've described to her, there was an itch that formed. It's something I just couldn't describe, and I couldn't scratch, and I couldn't ignore. Just this itch at my core from the first time I touched her through a hug. And then that itch grew every day since then, and it just started to turn into feelings. But at the same time, you know, I'm not about to sit there and insert. I can have feelings for somebody and not express them in a way that would compromise their current relationship. I wouldn't do that. I would never do that. I just realized I got changed. I didn't change my socks. God damn it. They smell like work. So, but anyway, so I was like started to like think more about like just her and them, and like how happy I was for him that he had somebody as wonderful as her. And I was just like, man, if only one day I could have somebody like that, that'd be amazing. You know, she's short, she's adorable, she's a cutie, she has the best smile, she she plays Xbox, she likes my story, she seems genuinely interested in actually talking to me, and all these things just, you know, felt so good. And I just kind of let that sit and let that simmer. Little did I know that that their relationship was rocky, or at least it had been. They had been dating for about 3 years at that point, and their relationship was going rocky because of a little bit of like, I don't want to slander anybody, but you know, emotional abuse towards her, just emotional manipulation, controlling, jealousy, and blah blah blah. And it hit the point eventually where she said, "I'm out," and after their 3-year relationship, she skipped out and she moved in with her friend, and that was that. And then there was, you know, weeks and weeks where I was the middleman. I was talking to them both, I was trying to repair their relationship. I was talking to him, getting his side, talking to her, getting her side as a mutual party, and I was trying my best to reconnect them both, because I couldn't see them as anything but together, because that's how I knew them for the entirety of our friendship. I knew them as together. So I was trying my damnedest to get them together. And he started, you know, accusing me and her of doing stuff behind his back, which wasn't true. Swear on my life, there's nothing like that. There was no flirting. There was nothing stupid like that. There was nothing going on. There was no private messages. There was nothing being hidden. We were just, anything was out in the open to be read. And for weeks, I was trying to talk to them both, to the point where he started getting really aggressive at me. So I eventually, you know, told him, I didn't tell him off, but I lashed back out at him, telling him that this is the exact reason why this is happening, because you're acting this way, and you know, you need to see it. So eventually it got to the point where I blocked him, and I got fed up because he started, you know, being really aggressive and accusing me, and he was going through a really emotional time. So I can't blame him for that, and I don't blame him for that. But it got to the point where I had to stop texting him and continue texting her, because I was now on her side, because I could see what she was dealing with. So I was talking to her, and we were talking for a good amount of time. This is right around the time where I was getting my Black Ops 3 Dark Matter. I remember specifically, I was getting my Black Ops 3 Dark Matter, and I was playing through Layers of Fear. That was the time where I was doing my Layers of Fear playthrough, and I recorded all of that in one night, and I was super stressed out, and then, you know, we were just talking for a little bit, and then month, 2 months, 3 months, you know, some odd amount of months later, I told her that, you know what, I said I said something along the lines of, like if some, I don't remember exactly what I said, but like I would be interested in you if things were different. I would be interested, in you as a person, and as I have feelings for you, and I've kind of had feelings. And then again, it kind of got revealed to me that she did something I didn't ever notice. This is back when I had my rats, and when they came out to visit me, she sprayed herself with her perfume, and she laid on my bed and tried to put her perfume scent on my bed so I would smell it. So Sam definitely had a little bit of a crush on me at the time. But again, I think that was like the only thing she ever did to like express that she was like feeling something, was she sprayed herself and tried to rub it on my pillow so I would smell her, and I still made fun of her about that to this day. So, but again, that was it. It's not like anything happened. I swear we didn't do anything. I'm trying to defend myself ahead of time, or defend ourselves, because that's not what we were doing, and that was neither of our goals. That was never a thing. But and then she said, I think I might have feelings for you too. And she was going through her period of like only being single for 2 or 3 months, and we were just kind of chatting, dealing with him, trying to get her life back together, staying with her friend. And then eventually, after a few months, I invited her to come out here, and she did. She flew out here, helped her get out, and while she was here, we were just kind of hanging out, working through stuff, just kind of bonding, talking more personally, just kind of going out and letting her forget about all the trouble she was having, taking her to a fun spot and going to like cool places, and just as her friend at that time, and after admitting that kind of had feelings for her, just kind of being there for her and whatever have you. And then by the time when me and my mom were driving her back to the airport, we just kind of looked at each other, and told her, it's like, hey, I really do have feelings for you. I said, and it was like, do you want to be my girlfriend? And we kind of rushed into it, and she said yes, and we started dating. She went back to Michigan, and we were officially in a long distance relationship much too soon after her relationship had ended. So, because at that point it was just like, holy shit, this is happening. In the back of my head, it's like, this is my chance. But in the front of my head, it's like, I want to help them both. I want them to be together. But at the same time, I was like, no, this is your chance. So it was a real struggle for me, because I've never really dealt with something like this in my life. And she was obviously going through a lot of stuff. So then we were, long distance dating. I went out to visit her in Michigan, which was a huge thing, because I had never flown on an airplane at that point. And I had never really been away from home like that by myself, so I had to go deal with all that and figure all that out, and kind of face a lot of those fears of anxiety and homesickness and just being away from familiarity, and that was a huge step for me. So I made it out to her. I made that Michigan vlog, and then I flew back, and then she came out, and then eventually she moved out to New Hampshire with me. We stayed in my parents' house, saved up some money that summer, and then we moved to Michigan. And from there, we were living there for 18 months, and then we moved back out here to New Hampshire, to Ossipee, stayed there for I don't know how many months. At that point, it's where I start losing dates, and then we moved back to Moultonboro, and we were together for 3.5 years, roughly. Our anniversary is in March, so we were almost there. And 3/22 is our anniversary, and yeah, so. But then how this all kind of happened was at the end of October, Sam started just kind of thinking more about her future and our future, and how we were both going back and forth talking about wanting to get married, and how she would want to propose to me and how I'd propose to her. And she was talking to my mom about rings, how I don't like to wear rings, how they're not comfortable because my knuckles are big but my fingers are thin, so rings don't ever fit me well. So she's trying to figure that out, and I was trying to figure out a ring, but of course money. And it was kind of like a race, not really a race, but like a little like who's gonna get it first kind of thing. But then as she was doing that, she really started to think about herself, because she never got to really finish her college stuff. She did some college while we were in Michigan, but she wanted to go for her degree for like American Sign Language, and that kind of job. That's her dream goal. That's like her career she wants. I got a text message, is American Sign Language, and I've always been supportive of that. And I said, hey, anything we can do to get you there, we'll do it, and I'll do whatever I can to be with you. So, and as she really started to think about just what it would take, and how she needs to go back to college, how, and then how that job would require her to travel, and how I'm not a guy that travels, so that already there is a big roadblock. And then on top of that, it was more of like, well, what about our relationship? Getting married? Sure, we'd love to get married, but I'm a stayer, she's a goer. She's outgoing, I'm introverted. So that's already a big difference there with us. And then the biggest difference for us probably was the fact that she wants kids and I absolutely don't want kids. So one of us would have to make that sacrifice to please the other and continue the relationship in that way, and that was a big thing. She doesn't want me to have to force myself to have kids, because I've always expressed very strongly that I don't want kids because I have to live my life, and I have stuff I need to do. I have to do the writing, I have to keep up with, work, and then I'm already a mental mess, so having a kid would put so much on top of that, and just a lot of stuff like that. And there's just a lot of stuff like that, a lot of small things that really add up. And then lately, these past few months, I've been really distant emotionally, physically. I've just been distant, and I really don't know why. I've just found myself comfortably sitting in the office in isolation away from her, and for no reason. It was nothing against her, and it wasn't like I was trying to avoid her. All I want to do is spend time with her, but I kept putting stuff off. I kept putting her second without really realizing how often I was doing it. So she would ask me, Chris, I want to go for a hike. We should go for a hike this weekend. I'd be like, yeah, sure, we could go for a hike. Gets to the weekend. Hey, you want to go for a hike today? No, not today. It's my day off. I want to relax, blah, blah, blah. Stuff like that. Hey, I want to go to the aquarium. We should plan a trip to the aquarium. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Never planned the trip to the aquarium. Stuff like that. And so, and in that time, she was feeling emotionally distant from me. I was distancing myself unintentionally, just working on whatever. And so she was talking to one of her friends, and I'm not going to say anything bad, but she found herself like trying to get affection from somebody else, just like casual flirting kind of thing with one of her friends, and then just like apologizing, like, I don't know why I'm being flirty, blah, blah, blah. So she was already feeling a distance from me. And then that's when she started to realize that she was falling and had fallen out of love with me. That she still loves me to death as a person, but she had fallen out of love with me. And unbeknownst to me, I'm sitting there still like, love her to death, and I still do. But we all noticed that she was she was being weird. She was acting strange. She was emotional. She was angry. She was quiet. She was sad seeming. So on Thursday, November 21st or 22nd, after work, she got home. I said, hey, Sam, I think we should talk. I want to talk to you. And then she just kind of like sank, and she knew what was about to happen tonight. And then that's when she explained stuff, and kind of all fell apart from there. I'm still emotionally devastated, because even now, after all of this, I love her to death. My throat's really dry, I'm sorry. And yeah, it was just, she can't see a future here, because the future here would keep her from her goals, and she knows that those goals she has had set for her entire life, and she knows what she wants. She wants to be married, she wants to have kids, she wants to live in a certain way, she wants to have her career path, and she wants to have the freedom to kind of like say, hey, let's go to fucking Spain, and we're gonna figure out going to Spain, like, go spontaneously. And I'm not a spontaneous person. So just, and then she, in that time at the end of October through November, she really just started to think about what she wanted out of life, and then realized that what she wanted conflicted directly with this, and then how we've been distant from each other a little bit, just realized that the love wasn't there on her part as much anymore, and that she was finding comfort in other people rather than me. And it was just, that's kind of where it all came apart. So, and that was almost a fucking month ago. It's been the longest, most painful month of my life, because like I've said, I still love her. She's still she's still my favorite person on this planet, and without her, as I said at the beginning, I would never have reached the level of maturity, any level of confidence in myself, and she's just shown me so much good, not only in me, but in the world and in other people, because I have always found it to be impossible. The idea of somebody caring about me the way she did. Like, I can understand somebody loving me, but somebody tolerating me in the way that she did. Somebody tolerating me and caring about me, and the way she would look at me, and the way she would comfort me, and the way she would tell me how, everything's okay, I'll follow you into the dark. There's a song by Death Cab for Cutie. It goes, if heaven and hell decide that they both aren't satisfied, illuminate the words on your vacancy sign. If there's no one around you when your soul embarks, then I will follow you into the dark. And as somebody who fears my death, and who fears the void of nothing that follows this life, just her reciting that back to me, it's just so powerful for me. This is the first time I've gotten like this in a few days, because I am the person who, against all circumstances, just hate myself. I just hate myself so much and everything that I am. And I've never had really anything worth waking up for every day, except for her, until I found her. She has always given me the reason to push and to try and to persevere and to never give up. And in the end, in a way, she gave up. Because she wants to be selfish for once. And that's not an insult. Those are her words. And that I believe and I understand and I support. She's a very selfless person. She's a people pleaser. And now she's finally doing something for herself. And I couldn't be more proud of her. It sucks. Because I'm back in that shallow pit of despair, where I always have been for my entire life, but she gets to go and she gets to live her life, because she trembling a little bit, she didn't get to have a single life. That was the big thing, is she was homeschooled, and then she did a little bit of school, a little bit of like middle school and high school, and then she went to college, met her ex-boyfriend, and then pretty much dated him for 3 years. So she never really had a solo adult life. Breaks up with him, and then starts dating me like 3 months later. She had 3 months of like solo adult freedom that she didn't even get to utilize because she was too busy dealing with the relationship falling apart. And then dates me for 3 years, and she still didn't get to have like an adult life where she could just go out and do what she wanted, that kind of thing. So I understand. I completely understand why she would want to do this. She deserves to have her own life, her own time, and to not have to check in with somebody via text message that she made it somewhere safe, and to not have to match her schedule with someone else's. She needs freedom, and she has her goals, and she is going for them, and she is so fucking strong. And God, do I love her. So that's the story. I can't imagine. I don't like to. It hurts so bad to like think of her finding somebody else in the future, because it's like, what does all the I love you mean back then? Does it all mean nothing? But it's just, I'm venting now. I'm afraid for myself because I'm back. I'm back to that spot. But now I'm stronger. Now I have my goals. And I am 10 times the person I was 3 years ago. And I have to say, I'm proud of me. I am. I've done things I never thought I could do. She gave me the strength to do them. So, but yeah, so it just, again, it really sucks because it's all timing. It was like 2 weeks before my birthday.
for a month before Christmas, Thanksgiving, and the beginning of the new year. Because I remember just before this happened, a few days before this happened, we were laying in bed, she was reading webtoons, and I felt really cold from her. I felt like she was just super quiet, super distant. Again, I kind of rolled over and I looked at her and I was like, hey, Sam. I just kind of gave her a smile. I'm like, I said, you make me so happy. And I don't tell you that enough. And I love you so much. And I said to her, 2020 is going to be our year. It's going to be my year. I think this is going to be one of the best years of my life. And she just kind of looked at me and smiled. And we gave each other a kiss. And, I said, I'm going to bed, so good night. I love you. She said good night. She rolled over. I rolled over, backs to each other, because that's kind of how we slept. And I didn't realize at the time that she was breaking as well, because she heard me say that and she knew what was already in her head. She was just trying to find the time, the date, and the words, and the strength to do it. She kept telling me how nauseous she was lately. She's like, "Can you bring me Pepto-Bismol? My stomach's all turned. I'm not feeling good lately." So I was doing what I could for her, not realizing that it was just sheer anxiety, because she had already made up her mind and she was trying to figure out how to go through with it. So I commend her for being so strong. And it's difficult, because now when I look at her, I see a different person. It's just weird. I don't see my Sammy, I see Samantha, and it's strange and it's very challenging, because every day it's a roll of the dice on how my emotions are going to be. I don't know. I have no idea what I'll wake up and feel tomorrow. I don't know what I'm going to feel after this video, but this has been almost a 30-minute video. I'm sorry. So that is the story of how this happened, and that Sam is not the bad guy in this. She did things that she shouldn't have done, granted, like talking to that guy and getting affection from somebody else, but it wasn't cheating, and it wasn't that. It was emotional vulnerability and a confusion of her feelings, because she was dealing with so much. So I'm still upset about that. I am. But again, I don't blame her. I'm not the easiest person to care about. I'm not the easiest person to love, because I emotionally and mentally am so unstable that I can't even imagine the thoughts that were going through her head over these 3 years every time something would happen with me, because I've had very bad anxiety and very bad depressive states, and she pushed me along, man. She kept me going. She kept me tethered. So anyways, that's it. So at the end of this video, if you watch this, hi. If I said anything you don't want me to say, I'll take it down. But you told me I could say whatever, so I love you, and I love you guys on YouTube. Thank you all for all of your kind words, reaching out to me, your private messages, your DMs, your posts, your donations, your gifts, everything. You guys I really don't deserve any of this. So, thank you guys. I love you. I'll see you in the next one.